think of the side quest with Fon and Anduin?
Oh, that's a good one. See, my expectation with Fon was that she's going to be like this old, another bossy lady,
Boss babe, yeah.
Yeah, boss babe that would teach Anduin how to be a man and he's all wrong and stuff. I wasn't that impressed, but I definitely was surprised by her character.
Oh, yeah.
I was surprised because she didn't strike me as a boss lady. She came across as this maybe damaged, maybe a little bit, problematic character that has a lot to get solved as well. Similar to Anduin. I didn't get a vibe. I see some people already like, oh my god, they're gonna fall in love and blah blah. I don't think that's gonna happen.
There's no actual.
I see them being useful for each other. I think it's a seed of something to become really awesome. Right now, I wouldn't say I was super impressed, but I was surprised. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, I kind of thought she was going to be more of a beacon for him. She was a good foil in the sense that she actually, didn't have his fear of disappointment, because that's what Anduin was struggling with. He felt like if he would call on to the light, he would be disappointed by the light not responding. Not that he tried and it didn't work. He didn't want to try at all. Yeah. And, Fon and the Arathi, because Fon was kind of like the spokesperson for the Arathi, don't really have that privilege of not trying, because they live in the darkness.
But it's kind of like they are basing everything around the light.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different.
It's also the dynamic between the two parts of the Arathi people, where the cautious ones are, we don't go out in the dark, we lock our doors at night, and she's like, but we're never gonna get out of here if we don't venture into the dark and brace it and have bravery and courage and go in. And that's basically where she imparts all of that into Anduin. And all of these, there's a little bit tidbit in the main story, but there's not much into the main story. The meat of this is in the side quests.
Yeah.
And all of this there's a lot of sub hints of trauma, of depression, of some psychology issues that
I would call it more mature stuff. As opposed to Chromie and Nosdormo.
That's exactly what I want to get into. It's actually good storytelling. It's actually good writing. It's people who can actually write a cohesive character, make it feel like a real character that you and I can empathize with, as opposed to, I'm not even going to go to Chromie because that's a little bit exaggerated. Let's talk about Shadowlands. Let's talk about the character of Sylvanas being written. Let's talk about the character of the jailer being written. Let's talk about the character of Uther.
We're bidding on a dead horse with Shadowlands.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's when the story didn't really feel like it was written by proper storytellers, like proper actual skill.
A parenthesis to what you're saying. So what Shadowlands and Dragonflight, and to an extent even Battle for Azeroth, lacked was the cohesive, clear direction for the narrative.
That's also true.
Right? So there were tidbits in Shadowlands that were awesome as stories. There were tidbits in Dragonflight that were awesome. The blue Dragonflight thing and all of that. There were compartments over there that were awesome. But
compartments is the key word.
Yeah, exactly. There wasn't a clear direction. War Within felt like it had this guiding light. And I'm not saying it was Metzen, because it wasn't. Metzen jumped in like War Within was already pretty much done. He probably gave a couple of nudges.
But probably just worked on making the world building be cohesive and make sense and tie into the next couple of expansions.
Yes, what you said is definitely true. Right now, all of the stories, apart from there's the quirky, funny ones, because that's
it's fine. Like some Kobold stories,
Kobold stories. Yeah, there's a couple in Dornogal as well. So you still have your quirky stuff happening, but the big majority of what's been happening story-wise, quite for adults. I didn't feel like this was written for kids anymore. So I've definitely seen this has so not been the case in Dragonflight. I'm sorry if I keep going back to Dragonflight, but as you mentioned, Dragonflight was the expansion that was the basis for okay, this is the big reset for WoW. Okay, we're making the game good. Yeah, we're making the game good again. So you guys just go explore. Exploration and the wonder of that was fine in Dragonflight. Story was shit, but anyways, now you have this cohesive, big direction that is 100% coming from someone who is in charge. Remember, Dragonflight didn't have any creative director. That was when the news left. So and Shadowlands had the Noozer over there, but you know, not trying to bash the guy, but it didn't really work out, and they admitted as much. Blizzard admitted they fucked up Shadowlands.
Also, part of the Shadowlands, this connection between the players and the actual world was the actual story and the characters, because they didn't feel like real characters, similar to Dragonflight. Like, if you hear of Nosdormu's troubles, do you really relate to that? Where in The War Within, it's actual people. You actually feel like you relate. Like even people as disconnected to us like Earthen, because they're like machines, kind of, right?
Oh, but it's so cool. Yeah, but it's so relatable to us.
There are relatable things like, you know, being bound to rules that you thought you had to follow, but then you can actually, you know, follow your own thing. Like, people can relate to that, even if it's, you know, a little bit different, a little bit more abstract. You know what they're going through. It's like when they think of like, oh, I was always supposed to do this one thing, but it turns out that the right thing is not quite the thing that everybody told me to do. Like the Titans told them to, you know, follow their edicts and all of that stuff. So those little tidbits of characters feeling human, you know, even Earthens are dwarves. Yeah. But that actually pulled me into like actually be curious about what their story is and where they're going from, and the fact that they actually had an evolution from, oh, this is who we are, this is who we become, and you can be with us along the way to see how we evolve and, you know, become better or whatever we're going to become to, you know, tell the story of Warcraft.
Also, the fact that they implement this like real lifey situations and stories and wrap them up into the different interactions between them, and then this is with the Earthen, and this is also with the Ashkahet people. I didn't do a lot of side quests in Ashkahet.
I didn't finish it either. No.
So, but listen, like there was like a lot of stories and a lot of like even in Riggin Deeps and on the Isle. So like the fact that they have this big council and the council is broken up, and you have to like work through making everybody has their issues, and it gave me this vibe as, okay, this is getting a little bit more political now.
Yeah.
Right? And that's adult, that's mature. You wouldn't explain political shit or put political arcs as, you know, as simple as they are within a game like World of Warcraft, but that would never be something that you put into a game for kids. Okay, that's one thing. Then you go into it and you find out the reasons why each and every member of this council has its quarrels or has been, and that was so good. That felt not necessarily that I can relate to it, but I could understand it and can level with it at a, you know, some sort of like, okay, maybe I've seen this in different books at some point or different TV shows. The whole political struggle, that's one aspect of it. Then you go into actually discovering the culture of it. And the whole thing with their Stormrooks and that whole question as well, like the whole story. So everything has this nuance and this background to it that honestly, man, it wasn't there for I don't know when. I think Legion was the last one when every little thing had this big backbone onto it.
That's
what was not boring.